Hello, welcome to week 3 of our online teaching. I hope you are doing well. Thanks for all the email and the feedback. It's been good to be in touch with you guys, even though we can't see each other. Just when we communicate like that, I feel like we're still in touch, and hopefully you and your families are doing well. Thanks for the feedback that I've been getting. You have said that you found these videos helpful to explain the notes a bit more. But just like everything else in the world, nothing really in the world is going as planned, and we've had some technical difficulties that still cannot be fixed. So the way I was doing the videos is not an option right now. We'll see what the future brings. So I'm trying another option. I am back in room 22, trying it off of the whiteboard. I know that it's a little bit further back, and I don't know how clear you can see it, but you do have a copy of the notes, and we're gonna do the best we can every day. Something new happens that we learn, but we will get through this. We will figure this out together. So thanks for your patience, and this is the way we'll have to do our video notes for now, and we'll see what next week brings. Okay, so continuing on in this radical unit, we've done our work on simplifying, which really was an extension of what we did last year in grade 10. The addition subtraction, that usually tends to go quite well, and multiplication hasn't been that bad. This is our second and final lesson on rationalizing denominators. Last week you did learn how to rationalize a monomial denominator, which is pretty straightforward. And that also explains again why we had two different values from our unit circle. Today we are going to look at rationalizing binomial denominators. A little bit longer, but technically there's nothing new we're learning today. If you've been doing every question from every assignment every day, this lesson is nice because it just kind of combines everything we've done in our radical unit. So if you can do the assignment today, that means you have a grasp on pretty much the entire radical unit. So before we do our two examples from our notes, there's a new term we're going to learn today. That is the word conjugate. We haven't encountered that before. We'll learn what it is today. That term does come up in grade 12 pre-cal and is used in our trig identities unit. So we'll learn it now, and then hopefully we'll remember it for next year and be able to apply it. So conjugate just basically means you take your same two terms but with opposite signs. So root 2 plus root 3, the conjugate is just root 2 minus root 3. Really simple. It's the same two terms, just the opposite sign that was there. So the conjugate of root 5 minus 4 would be root 5 plus 4. Very simple idea. That's called conjugate, when you take the same two terms but an opposite sign. And the rule for rationalizing, we're just multiplying the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So they'll get long and tedious, but not that hard. And like I said, the good part is, if you can do this one example, that means you've understood everything that we've been doing for the last week in radicals. Okay, so let's give these two examples a try. So we have 2 over root 2 plus root 3. Step 1, what's the conjugate of the denominator? The conjugate of root 2 plus root 3 would be root 2 minus root 3. Now, you can't just multiply one and not the other. You basically are multiplying it. You can think about it, you're multiplying it by 1. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So there we go, that's one step. That's a major concept. That is showing that we can multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. Now the rest should be easy. The rest is just multiplying and combining like terms. Okay, so distributive, I'm not sure. I'll go under here. We'll see if you can see this or not. Like I said, new week brings new challenges, and we'll see how it goes this week. So 2 times root 2 is just 2 root 2. 2 times minus root 3 is just minus 2 root 3. This is just good review of your multiplication of radicals assignment we did. I guess it would have been a week ago already for you guys. Now the denominator, a binomial by a binomial, distributive property, or some teachers call it FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. Some teachers make a chart. It's all the exact same method. You just distribute each term to each term. So root 2 times root 2 is root 4. Root 2 times minus root 3 is minus root 6. Root 3 times root 2 is plus root 6. And then the last one gives us minus root 9. There, are we done? Oh, I'm off the screen. Are we done? Well, we'll see. Can we combine like terms? The numerator, we are done. There's nothing we can do. But the denominator, something should cancel out. If we've done it correctly, the two middle terms always cancel out. They have to. And if they don't, that means we've done something wrong. The two middle terms always cancel out. And then we look, oh, root 4, that's a perfect square root. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. Are we done? Almost. We would get 2 root 2 minus 2 root 3, 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Are we done? Technically we are, but if you checked in the back of your textbook, they probably would have a different answer. If you divide each term by that -1, you would get negative 2 root 2 plus 2 root 3. And that should be your final answer. So once you understand what a conjugate is, there's absolutely nothing new. It's long, it's tedious, but go slowly and carefully and just don't make any mistakes and it should work out. Okay, let's try one more example. And again, the good news, this is about the hardest and longest they can get. So if you can do this, pretty much shows that you've understand what's been happening in the radical unit. Root 5 minus root 7 over root 2 plus 3 root 3. Step number 1, what's the conjugate of the denominator? The conjugate would be root 2 minus 3 root 3. That would be a 1-mark concept for knowing what a conjugate of a denominator is in grade 11. And again, what you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator. That's it for the new part. Now the rest is just reviewing of everything we've done. Again, distributive property. So when you multiply your numerator, it'd be root 10 minus 3 root 15. Then we would get minus root 14 plus 3 root 21. Just do distributive property. First, outside, inside, last. Then the denominator, we would get root 4, we would get minus 3 root 6, then we would get plus 3 root 6, and then here we have a 3 root 3 times a minus 3 root 3, that's a minus 9 root 9. Then we look through, can we combine anything? The numerator looks long, but root 10, root 15, root 14, root 21, nothing can be simplified. So that's our numerator. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird, but that's it. We cannot go any further. Our numerator stays like that. Nothing simplifies, nothing combines. Denominator. These two terms cancel out. If they don't, something's gone wrong. They have to cancel out if you've chosen your conjugate properly and you've multiplied correctly. And again, we can do some simplification. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root, oops, I don't know why the pen changed color. Square root of 9 is 3. So again, we're going to keep writing out the numerator. It's long and tedious. That doesn't change, but we can clean up the denominator a little bit. Minus 9 times 3 is minus 27, and 2 minus 27 is minus 25. And that is our final answer. So again, they're long, they're tedious, but if you go slowly, carefully, step by step, it shouldn't be that bad, and it's an excellent review of what you've done this week. Okay, good luck with your assignment.